Human embryo formation or creation. Tamil Chitter. Thirumoolar, written in his Thirumanthiram, lived in 5000 BCE. English translations of his divine poems, number 451 to 491, from Sacred Classical Tamil Language of Tamil Nations. God creates from within the womb. He conjoins the tattvas, principles, 5 and 20, subtle scaffolding. That in life past departed from me, to my dear life awaken, thus he creates. Seated within the globular womb, he then primal one creates, knowing what I am to be. The Lord grants breath and the child is born. Above the Mooladhara, coccyx, the Kundalini fire abides, that is one of the subtler body scaffolding forces. There in the water-filled womb, the infant lay, its tiny feet entangled, that is the sweet life in patience waiting. Its onward course may seek, he ordained, releasing the pranas 10. The course of life was ordained at the time of union. When parents two in pleasure united, then was ordained, this body. The sorrow house of vexing pasa, worldly desires and attachments. When that is to be, at that hour of union, he ordained, he, the heavenly Lord. Through that entered the 25 tattvas, principles, to make the infant body. They who birth finale saw, alone knew how Purusha, of tattvas 5 and 20. The body corporeal entered, none else knows. That which saw women's birth pit, in form twain, rushed within. The tattvas remained on the forehead of the fetus. The penis pierced, the vagina opened, and together they rushed in. The tattvas in groups of 5, the elements of 5, the tanmantras 5, the senses organs 5 gross, and the 5 subtle, and cognizing organs 4, mind, intellect, will, and egoity, and in the center of the forehead, they all lay, concealed. Prana, distilled breathing, enters jiva, soul, at birth. As unto when flower blossoms, the breeze spreads fragrance. In spaces all around, so does over jiva extend, gently unfolding at the time destined. The Lord drives the tattvas, principles, into the infant body. The 8 constituents of the body are subtle, that ultimately leave the 8 and 10 tattvas that sneak in, with Purusha in them immersed. That orifice is 9, the Kundalini that serpent-like coils, the life breath 12 finger breadth long. If these, the divine chauffeur drives not in. Verily may the infant be less than human, say pig. The child with the 3 gunas, qualities, in balance is fit for rulership. When in a sex union, the male flow in force dominates, the infant is born with tamasic, lethargic, qualities of Rudra. When the flow in reverse is, the sattvic, peaceful quality of Hari dominates. When the 2 in balance flow, the rajasic, dominance quality of Brahma prevails. He is to kingship born in whom gunas 3 proportionate sway. Into the fetus maic, illusory, mind was placed. These 2 in accord united, and from their vital flows, emerged the infant form. But when into it jiva, soul, who in myriad bodies has dwelled of yore, now entered, lo, it is dominated by the mind, Maya subtly pervades it. Jiva, soul, gets consciousness and desires. There in the pregnant womb, the soul lay in primordial quiescence, Turiya state wakeful sleep, 4th consciousness. Super-consciousness, from that state Maya and her tribe aroused it, and conferred consciousness, and Maya evolutes sight desires and the rest. Thus say scriptures, holy and true. How the body is fashioned. With skeletal bones, he erected the frame. With tendons circuitous, he fastened it. With blood and flesh, he cemented it. Thus did Lord fashion this body mansion. For dear life to dwell him I seek forth, endearment increasing. The Lord contains the fire in Muladhara, coccyx region. He is milky white in hue, effulgent is he unto the sun, he is benignant, he pervades the entire body, and diffuses his tenderness. He contained the rage of fire in Muladhara. This he ordained, in ways diverse. The Lord preserves the fetus. Even the day, ruinous karma trailed after jiva, soul, he designed ways of preservation numerous. He surrounded the fetus with water, kept it safe from burning Muladhara fire, he drew charmed circles eddying, around the budding life, from pasa harassing, and so preserved it safe and cool. Breathing in size of infant, the silvery semen welled up, and met the vaginal flow, like surging, and lo, then was born the infant, inhaling 8 and exhaling 4 finger length of breath, and measuring 8 finger span of its own tiny palm. Body of 25 tapas. Into the union, the Holy One entered, gathering tapas 5 and 20 fashioned the 5-sheathed body. Munificent indeed was his gift. A veritable bundle of desires he made. After death, senses end with the body. Jiva ends in nada. The 5 senses with their foolish ways are in this body born, and there they subside. So does jiva that permeates macrocosm surely subside in nada. The 35 tapas introduced. As on to a leaf-like device he mounted my life, and there, with balance like precision planted, subtle senses 5, and other tapas 30, and thus fashioned a body. A steaming cauldron with openings 9. Lord creates. In the union's rapture, they needed the clay. For him to fashion sorrow's tenement, the kiln burned, the pitcher emerged, with channels 9 and tapas 18. Lord placed the 6 adharas. You know not the 6 centers within, you realize not the great good that wells therein, you seek not the siddhis with them, know this. The fleshy body is but of 10 senses made. Lord placed divine jnana in cranium. He fashioned this body, into that body, he breathed life, and set gates 9, and then into the lotus-like cranium, he lit the fire, of divine jnana. The Lord made these, and him I salute in endearment intense. Lord creates life from primal seed of causation. The Lord is limitless light, he kindles all life from primal womb, he stirs the liquid seed of causation, he endows it with form expansive. Him I seek in heaven and earth. Body's impermanence. In the union of sexes opposite the light of life is born shielded true. A bubble it is in life's watery expanse, a shadow that spreads on earth below. Sheathed in the subtle body 8. Lord gives and Lord takes life. Of the 8 organs of the body subtle, are senses protean 5 and cognitive instruments 3, that is mind, will, and cognition. Know the dear Lord who fastened this body bag, with desire's sticky glue will in time unfasten it too. Lord gave means of redemption. The Lord made the body, a name and form it assumed. Then, for jive his redemption to seek, he created earth and tapas many, thus speak the Vedas. He placed jiva in care of 2 foster mothers. None the grace but haras, none of haras but the grace, and so as he bestows life, he bestows too, the loving care of foster mother twine. Maya and Mamaya. Then Shiva and Sakti pervaded jivas, souls. Sakti, the conjoined cause of creation, the luminous one that dispelled darkness total, together created a myriad lives, their genus and species. And having done that they pervaded them too. Oh, magnificence nonpareil. He printed the gender of the infant. The seed of life, as a steady flame in the womb burns, it takes shape one of three, male, female, and hermaphrodite, how the father and mother at union were. Even so, he printed the gender, righteous indeed was that luminous one. Gender determined at sexual union. The masculine flow dominates, the infant is male born, the feminine dominates, and the infant is female born. When the two are in force equal, a hermaphrodite is born. When masculine flow gushes in plenty, the infant born will sway the world entirely. When masculine flow is scanty, not indeed conception is. Age is determined. If after emission, the male's breath 5 finger length extends, the infant born lives 100 years. When breathing to 4 finger measure stretches. To age 80 the infant lives, the yogi knows the science of breath control. If in sex act he indulges, he, the vital flow, accordingly regulates. Birth imperfections explained. When after intercourse the man is short of breath, the infant born a dwarf will be. When breath spires feeble, the issue may, of defective limbs being born. When breath halts in mid-act a hunchback will be born. All these apply not to woman's breathing rhythm. How deaf, dumb, and blind are born. When at the time of the union, the mother's bowels are heavy exceeding, a dullard will be born. If urine exceeds, a dumb will be born. If both exceed, a blind will be born. Thus is it for the infant born the mother's condition according. Breathing at union decides gender of baby. If breath spires leading on the nostril right, the infant born will a male be. If on the nostril left, a female will be born. If the descending current apana, exhaling breath, opposes the ascending current prana, inhaling breath, twins there shall be. If in measure equal the breath rhythm runs. Through nostrils right and left, hermaphrodite shall be the baby born. How a handsome baby is born. If male and female breath runs in measure equable, the infant born will be exceeding handsome be. When in both breaths rhythm falters, no conception will there be. How infant in the womb grows. The infant seed, the damsel in her womb bore nourished by bright milk. That is fed by Sakti and eyebrow center grew, beaming like the golden rays of the rising sun. Inside, it took form appropriately. Maya fosters the baby. In month 10, it forms full and then on earth in the time appointed, it lands, and grows, Maya, fostering. But who knows that formless Maya? Maya's illusion, hidden act. He who planted the seed knew it not. She who received saw it not. The Creator knew, but he told none. The Lord who truth reveals is also there. Yet I saw not Maya. Illusion force, how cunning was her stealthy conduct. In manhood Javar seeks God. Seeking pleasure, the two met. In Pasa's attachment to worldly affairs, misery was born and bred, and having grown to the stature, grew to manhood here below. Well, may it seek the Ancient One, that before all worlds were. How Maya fosters babe. The quail bird leaves its egg in the crow's nest. The crow hatches it, nurses it, suspecting nothing. It does not move it, does not reject it, does not ask why. So does Maya the young one foster. God protects Jiva at all stages. The Lord is the primal one, the root, the shoot, the plant, and the fruit. Thus, he blesses all life. To each, he grants his life's pleasure, with each he stands according. Lord appears in prayer and penance. My Lord is of infinite greatness, yet is he within the littleness of this fleshly body. Beyond the ken of celestials is he. Yet in prayer and penance he himself shall appear before you. Birth is by Lord's grace. Even unto the salt, that from wavy sea emerges, out of tapas that arose in Param, Was this body formed to be born thus as his grace indeed?